welcome back to my channel, babes. It's me again. So today I wasn't actually going to talk about this. I wanted to talk about Hermes releasing their nail varnish line. Okay, the release of nail varnishes, but we're not talking about that. They're coming out in October. We'll talk about them later because this story came out. I had to talk to you guys about it and hear from you. Full disclaimer, I'm going to be saying some very unpopular opinions in this video. If you're extremely sensitive, please do not be upset. It's just my opinion. You're entitled to your opinion. So here we go. So Passport posted this article about, just talking about one-to-one spending in China. And then she posted this like really interesting tidbit from this Hermes executive who was interviewed very recently in Women's Wear Daily magazine, WWD. And in WWD, he says this, he tells WWD this, and Passport reposted it because you have to have a subscription to read that magazine. This is what he says when they're talking about one-to-one spending, or as it's known in Mandarin, pay huo. He says, this is not a company-endorsed policy. What is true is that most markets have to manage scarcity. It means managing waiting lists and sometimes managing disappointment and long wait times. I want to react to each thing that he says, and I'll link her article in the description below if you want to read his full article. So let me just react to that. This is not company endorsed policy. Yes, it is. Okay, can we stop this? Can we stop this little bo peep routine? It's really getting very irritating. It's almost condescending. Let's stop just this nonsense. Okay, yes, it is. We all know that it is. It is something that they endorse silently. They have never publicly said, like the top dogs in Paris, that it exists, but we all know that it does exist. Okay, I just don't have time. Okay, and as someone who has researched this brand a lot, and I've spoken to many of you who are VIPs and big spenders, it is so obvious that one-to-one spending exists pretty much everywhere, even in the UK. We're going to talk about the UK a little bit later because the UK is a bit different, but we will talk about it. What is true is that most markets have to manage scarcity. Okay, that's true. They have to manage scarcity, but look at the way that is said. They have to manage scarcity. It's almost like a hint about one-to-one spending. Can you people please stop trying to play games with us, okay? We are not little girls, okay? We're big women and we're gentlemen on this channel, and we know what time it is. Just stop. This means managing waiting lists. Okay, so let's talk about the United Kingdom. So the UK operates on the waiting list system. So for the most part, if you're in the UK, you can pretty much get the bag you want, but you may have to wait a very long time. If you're a big spender, you probably get it super quick once you have put in your wish list / waiting list. Whichever one you want to say, they're pretty much both the same thing. Sometimes managing disappointment and long wait times. Again, focus on that bit there of managing disappointment and long wait times. Long wait times tend to happen to people who are not spending in those, juicy categories that we talk about all the time. Fine jewelry, homewares, ready to wear, furniture, equestrian, for example, and timepieces. So maybe if you're in a very competitive location, but you don't want to spend in those like big juicy categories, yes, you are probably going to wait quite a bit until you get your offer. He says something else in the article. I want to read it to you and then we'll react to it, okay? Then he says, it's very frustrating for us not to be able to satisfy everybody. At the same time, we are not doing it to create an artificial market. You're hysterical. We're doing it because we're not going to lower our quality standards, which are based on an artisanal production model that is growing as fast as it can. Listen. You people need to stop, okay? We are not kids here, okay? They really need to stop playing with me. I am not falling for this. And by the way, I made this video because I know there's some of you who watch this channel, you watch other Hermes videos, you're like true diehard Hermes fans. Some of you try and defend their shenanigans in the comments, okay? Don't fall for it. These people can meet the demand today. If the top dogs in Paris decide they want to sell a Birkin or a Kelly or a Constance to every single person who wants one, they can meet the demand today. They choose not to because scarcity is part of the commercial strategy. I'm not mad at that. I think the scarcity thing is a fantastic idea because it makes it a luxurious product. It makes it an exclusive product. But to say that they're not doing it to create an artificial market, you are doing it to create an artificial market. Can we just stop with the games and stop pretending? It's really getting irritating and very annoying. This is a true artificial market, because if Hermes should decide to increase production and produce way more quota bags than normal, the demand for them will decrease naturally, and at resale, those resale prices will go down. It's absolutely an artificial market. It is an artificial market, and that's fine, but let's just stop with this act. I don't know who is their PR agency, okay? I know that they're getting a big check for teaching them this media training, but you're not getting it past me, honey, okay? Because I work in marketing, so I know what time it is. Don't fall for this. This is spin and PR. Very good PR, by the way. We're not going to lower our standards, which is based on artisanal production model. If I hear this one more time, okay, after reading their like half-year reports and annual reports, I'm not listening to any more of these people's shenanigans now through PR. So I wanted to talk about that because I just thought that was just so hysterical. So, pretty much like my feeling is what I think is this. If you read between the lines, the top dogs in Hermes know one-to-one spending exists. The top dogs in Paris pretty much have sanctioned this behavior. They're familiar with it. They know it happens. They're fine with it because obviously it is supporting revenues in other categories as well. Okay, and I think that they don't really mind. So I wanted to talk about the UK super quick. One reason why on this channel we don't really talk about the UK boutiques is because of the wishlist system. The wishlist system in the UK, pretty much most people who are in Great Britain, you can pretty much just put your wish list, and if you spend some money quicker, you might get your bag faster. But eventually, if you wait long enough, you see my dogs are barking. Even they're not here for Hermes and her shenanigans, okay? They're like, Big H, stop lying, okay? So yeah, so the UK stores, they're just completely different. They don't operate like the other boutiques in the world. And I feel like what Hermes need to do, Big H need to decide that we either all do the British model, which in my opinion actually kind of takes away, it kind of strips some of the demand away, because everyone who lives in the United Kingdom pretty much knows eventually I'll get my bag. Or we all do one-to-one spending globally. Okay, they need to create some harmonization with that, because we all know one-to-one spending exists. For them to even say that it doesn't exist is absolutely hysterical, okay? And when I first read this article, I thought it was like, I was like, no way. This is just like us being punked, okay? So that's how I feel about it. Now, normally when I post my Hermes videos, I always get lots of comments, and everyone is like sharing their opinion. And as usual, I love hearing from you. Leave your opinion in the description below. I respond to pretty much every comment. As long as you're not attacking me, as long as it's in your Michael Jackson voice, I'll be responding to your comment. Now, I wanted to kind of share the most like frequently left comments, okay, that I always get on my Hermes themed videos. And then I'm going to respond with some very unpopular opinions, okay? And I think it's just really important for us to talk about it. So, them saying that one-to-one spending, you know, doesn't exist. Sometimes I do get those comments like, I don't know why people talk about one-to-one spending. How come in my store there's no one-to-one spending? There probably is one-to-one spending. Maybe you just haven't experienced it. I think it's super important. Just because you haven't personally experienced something doesn't mean it's not real for other people. And I hope you're not offended, guys, by that. But I do see those comments a lot, so I want to respond to that. The next comment that I get a lot on my Hermes videos is, why can't people just go to Paris and try and score? Another really unpopular opinion, and it's kind of seeming like it's becoming even more and more real for a lot of clients, is that scoring in Paris is not a guarantee. There's no guarantee that you're going to go to Paris today and you're going to walk into the FSH store and get an appointment like that. The last time I checked on social media, someone posted and said there's 7,000 appointment requests per day. This is right now in autumn. Imagine what it's going to be like in December. Daily, in and out, all of those appointment requests. And I think they grant under 200 appointments per day across all three boutiques, maybe even under 100, I think, at this point. So the whole going to Paris thing, I think you should only go to Paris if you're in a situation like me. If you live in a country with no boutique, the closest boutique to me by sheer travel by the plane, it would be in the United Arab Emirates, but the Dubai boutiques and the Abu Dhabi boutiques are two of the most competitive locations for Hermes stores. I would have a better chance going to Paris than just rolling the dice in any of the 3 Parisian boutiques, because it would be so hard to like meet the one-to-one spend over there. You'd have to. I think even some of the Emirati stores, it can even be 3 to 1. I mean, that's huge. Do you know what I mean? So Paris is not a guarantee. Paris is not a shoe-in. Okay, Paris also has its own issues. Okay. Now, when we hear about Paris, there are always people who throw out their stories about, well, I walked in and someone cancelled and I was given an appointment. I saw someone on social media say that Hermes now have cottoned on to all these videos and posts about storing in Paris. So they do allow very few people to walk there and ask for and wait for a cancellation, basically. And if you have the time. Now, I feel like when I'm in Paris, I don't want to sit in the FSH store waiting for a cancellation. I don't know how I feel about that. But I did get tagged by one of you, one of my YouTube subscribers who's on TikTok. You tagged me in this video of this TikTok user. I'll link it in the description below as well. So she goes to Paris. She scores I think she scored a gold Birkin. I think it was a Birkin 13 gold. And she also scored a 24-24. Now, in her TikTok video, very quickly at the beginning, if you don't listen carefully, you can even miss it. She says the day before she goes to FSH, or which I think is one of the Parisian boutiques, I think. The day before she goes there, she buys some china, some, porcelain, okay? So, and then the next day, she goes there to get a leather appointment. I like this TikTok influencer. I think she's fab. But salute to her for actually saying that she did go the day before and bought some porcelain, okay? And then the next day she tried her luck and she was given a leather appointment because she had been trying and trying and trying, clearly. She didn't say that, but you can infer it from the video that clearly she didn't get a direct appointment. So she went and tried her luck and then they saw her. So obviously there was a cancellation. So in terms of the Paris thing, yes, it can work out. But then after I was tagged by a YouTube subscriber, I was looking through more of her TikToks, and then she was even offered the cargo Birkin, which is such a unique bag. It's very, very hard to score this bag. She was offered the cargo Birkin in her home boutique. So she's clearly a big spender anyway. So I just want to say, Paris is not a guarantee. Yes, there are people who go to Paris, and yes, who do get a gold Kelly, or a gold Birkin with no spend, with literally just buying that and they leave and stuff, and that does happen. But what I am noticing is more stories like this TikTok user. If you can't get an appointment, there are more people who are going and buying something so they can have a profile at FSH, and then the next day going again and hoping for a cancellation, because obviously on the system they'll be like, oh, but Kagem came the other day and she bought a watch, she bought some porcelain, she bought some plates. Okay, let's give her this cancelled appointment and let's see if we can offer her a bag. Another comment I get a lot from people who watch my Hermes videos is, well, how come, I don't do one-to-one spend in my boutique and I have gotten all the bags I've wanted? Okay, to that point, it's really, really important. My first question to you, darling, would be, how many years have you been a client at Hermes? More often than not, anytime I see these comments, when I ask someone very gently, how long have you been a client at Hermes? They'll say, I've been a client for 3 years. I've been a client for 5 years. Guess what? You've been spending money throughout all of those years. So if you've been a client at Hermes for 3, 4, 5 years in your local store and you're buying things, even if you're not buying fine jewelry, even if you're not buying homewares, you're buying twillies, you're buying silks and bits and pieces like that, and you're buying shoes, you'll basically, if you look to your past purchases, you will see that you have a big spending profile. So maybe your SA doesn't require you to spend $10,000 today to get a bag, because they know, this person has spent in the past 3 years, they've spent $100,000, or they've spent $200,000 in the past 3 years. This is a client that this store will have, for a very, very long time. So we're not going to make her do one-to-one spend, because we know she's going to come and buy those silks. She's going to come and buy those twillies. She's going to come and buy those rodeos. I think it's very important for those of you who are grandfathered into good relationships to understand that you've still spent a lot of money to get your offer. It just maybe has been over a longer period of time. So when you hear of one-to-one spend, you're like, whoa, that person's spending 15K in one session. I haven't spent that in one session. No, you haven't, but you spent it over a long period of time. Another really common thing that many people say on my Hermes videos is, I walked in to a boutique and I was offered a bag and I didn't have spare. I always respond to you guys like, darling, where are you? Which boutique is it? And what was your offer? And you need to say the color. Now, I have had comments from some people who've left these comments, and people, we asked them nicely. I remember once I asked someone and someone else asked, and then the person never came back to reply, and they wouldn't say what color they had. Okay, so to me, that says you didn't get the bag in a desirable color. And let me be clear, if you saw my Hermes wishlist video, my desirable colors that I want are super bright colors. So I have no issue. Bright colors are not really hot right now when it pertains to the Hermes quota bags. People love those neutral colors. A tan, cream, gold, a taupe, of course black. People want those neutral tones. People don't really want those super, super bright colors. Okay, so I want to give an example. There was a TikTok that I saw. I'm not going to link it because, again, I don't have any beef. I don't have beef with this particular person. But the TikToker was doing an unboxing. It was a beautiful bucket. It was a very, very bright green. I think it was bamboo. It was very bright. I can't be sure, but I do think it was the color bamboo. And, the person was like, yeah, really, really happy, whatever. And that they, got this offer and they didn't have to do any spend. That Birkin, okay, is so bright. It's such a bright color. And I'm not trying to take away from the score. Let me tell you, okay, if I score a brightly colored Birkin or Kelly and you guys are like, again, you got it because it's a bright color, I'll put my hand up and say, absolutely, I got it because it was a bright color. So in terms of the walk-in offers, they really are giving those offers to people who are going to take those bright colors. So the really bright greens, those like fuchsia pink, like as someone who loves pink, some of those like brightly colored pinks are a bit too much. That color faux, which is the Hermes orange, and those like very bright reds, like Rouge de Coeur, that's a very bright color. So those bright colors, particularly in those larger sizes, even though the Birkin 30 isn't a large size, I feel like a bright color in the Birkin 30 size, it will look even bigger than it is. So at the end of the day, I think it's just really important to note that walk-ins tend to be given, in general, okay, around the world, walk-in clients tend to be given bright colors, okay, and they also tend to be given those bigger sizes. The Birkin 35, the Kelly 32, okay? Something else I've been noticing from watching a lot of people on TikTok and a lot of people on Facebook talking about their Parisian offers is even the Parisian boutiques are giving out bright colors in those larger sizes as well. So if you're willing to take a bright color, you're probably gonna get that offer in Paris if you're open to taking a bright color. But if you're set on a taupe or cray or nata, yeah, it might be a little bit more difficult. But I just think it's really important to say, walk-in offers where the people are getting like a taupe or gold, that is very rare. That is a unicorn thing. That there's just no way in a very competitive location. For example, the Palo Alto store, the San Francisco boutique, okay, the Miami boutique. No one can tell me they're going to walk into any of those three stores and ask for a Birkin 30 in gold with no purchase history and be given that bag. That is not going to happen, okay? If it happens, bring me a unicorn, put an Hermes saddle on that unicorn, okay? And I'm going to gallop all the way to your store to watch you get that offer, okay? So I think it's just really important to understand that. And particularly for those of you who are waiting for your bags, I've spoken to a few of you, told me, Kagam, like I spent X amount, I'm waiting for my bag, I haven't got my bag yet. Don't be discouraged. Yes, there are people getting walk-ins, but most walk-in offers, this is an unpopular opinion, are those brightly colored bags, or they're neutrals in a larger size. I'm just saying. Something else that I get a lot on my channel, which I do think is a little bit strange, I get a lot of comments about other creators and other YouTubers. People mention a lot of other big names in the luxury YouTube community, luxury Instagram, and luxury TikTok. I hear a lot of people's like, well, how come XYZ got this offer? Okay, so let's talk about the big luxury influencers in the game. The big people in the game who are Hermes clients, Hermes and even Chanel and Vuitton, they know that these people are luxury influencers, okay? I bet you they know way more than we think, to be fair. And they're always going to offer those people, because first of all, those people are spending anyway. They're spending in categories that Hermes likes. And also, Hermes also understands that This person has, you know, tons of followers, tons of subscribers. We're going to continue to offer that person bags because we're essentially getting free advertising to their audience as well. And Hermes knows this, you know. So sometimes when you guys post those comments, I'm like, you know, because I like I said, you know, pretty much I watch all the channels that you watch, and I pretty much, like I said, as long as the person responds to people's comments, I'm watching their channel, I'm supporting their channel, I'm liking their videos. Most people who are big luxury channels, luxury influencers who are getting bags, they are also big spenders or they're VIPs. And I think it's just very important to note that. Don't compare yourself to someone who's a luxury influencer who's spending a lot of money per month purchasing things, because that person, like I said, is already grandfathered into a good situation in their home boutique, and they're an influencer. So these brands are a little bit more lenient with offers and more willing to give better offers. Something else that people do on my channel, sometimes when they leave comments, is people will say, you know, I got a bag or whatever, but won't explain other things around scoring a bag, which I think are very important. So if you remember what I was saying about this TikTok user who I've linked her video in the description below, she quietly and very quickly in the beginning of the video said she purchased porcelain. That is a very relevant point. Now, most people watching that video will just be focusing on the fact she got a gold backing. But you know me, I know you, we're very well tuned here because we like luxury shopping and we like shopping. And we know, okay, that those details matter. I salute her for adding those details because many people don't. Survivorship bias is a real thing. The people who have scored in Paris are more likely to film TikTok, you know, post Instagram stories and film YouTube videos. If you try to score in Paris and you fail, very few people are gonna come and post a video. Now for me, I will come and post the video, okay? I'll probably lick my wounds, okay? I'll chill, I'll lick my wounds. But then I'll come back here and say, hey guys, I tried to score, it didn't happen. But guess what, okay? Me and my bags, okay? We went to Cartier, we went to Fendi, and they took my money instead. So I think it's just really important to note that some people don't give the full details of their purchase. So someone will be like, hey guys, I went and bought a Birkin or a Kelly with no purchase history, but they might not say that the previous year they were shopping for ages and then stop shopping for a long period of time. Don't believe everything you read on the internet, everything you see on the internet. These are my opinions. I can't prove things, but I have spoken to many of you who are big spenders, VIPs. I've done my own original research as well. And these are just a few things that I have noticed. So I just wanted to share them with you. So yes, one-to-one spending exists. Just because if you have never had to do one-to-one spending, think of how much money you have spent with Hermes, because you might figure out that actually you did one-to-one spending without realizing. So I just want you guys to know about that, because I think it's really important to put that out there. If we're talking about Hermes, let's be transparent and talk with as much detail as possible. Please don't be that person. I get these comments a lot like, hey Kagem, I got a Kelly 25 and I didn't have purchase history. And then I respond back to the person like, okay, hey, can you share your story? And that person never comes back. Two-pack hologram me there. I want to see you get it without spending a very competitive boutique. But no, seriously, Paris is getting very competitive. There are lots of people coming back from Paris at the moment, particularly so this like autumn period. Many people are saying that it's not good right now, and many people are going and not getting offers, even if they were lucky enough to get an appointment. It seems like that strategy of going there and buying something maybe one day and then coming back the next day, it seems like that is actually a better strategy than trying to get the appointment. So I just thought that this was a very interesting story. I would love to hear from you guys, to know what you think. Please make sure you like this video, you subscribe to my channel, and hit notifications. It really helps to support me. Look, at the end of the day, I like Hermes, I like their products, but I think that this is a bubble. You know, like how there was a housing bubble, the international housing bubble from a few years ago. I actually think we're in a luxury handbag bubble. I don't know when this bubble is going to burst, okay? But I think it's going to burst soon. And I think Hermes really need to figure out what they're doing, because they're definitely going to be one of the first casualties once this bubble bursts. Thank you so much for watching, you guys, and I'll see you in my next video.